Auckland City played Birkenhead midweek on a Tuesday.
Oh, did
in
they?
the middle of winter, yeah. And the turnout was amazing. Like it was a couple
Here at Shepherds?
yeah, there was a couple of thousand people easily. And the weather was horrendous. It was pouring with rain. It was windy. It was cold. But it's one of the best little atmospheres you can get when everybody's
when it's packed in.
Yeah, when it's packed in, it's really good. There's been some quite good crowds. Waiheke were really good. Good afternoon and welcome to Shepherds Park in Auckland, Beach Haven. It's Birkenhead United against Christchurch United in the New Zealand National League Championship. I'm Gordon Glenn Watson. Alongside me is Harry Nata. Harry, welcome.
Thanks, Gordon. Looking forward to this one this afternoon. These are two very good sides. Have had very good regional competitions over the last few months. It'll be interesting to see how well these two come up against each other. Some formidable names if you look across the team sheets, which I'm sure we're going to go through in a minute, Gordy. But very much looking forward to this one this afternoon.
Well, here's a look at some of the results that took place yesterday. Cashmere Technical, the big winners, a 4-0 victory over Miramar Rangers. Napier City Rovers picked up their first win at this level for a good number of years, a 1-0 win over the Wellington Phoenix Reserves. And Auckland City FC, 2-1 winners over Wellington Olympic in a thrilling game played at Endeavour Park. That Cashmere Technical game was the one that really caught the eye of everyone, Harry.
Yeah, 4-0 against... we were expecting a much closer game than that, weren't we, Gordon?
Well, let's take a look at Christchurch United's lineup. It's a very interesting lineup that coach Paul Eiffel has gone for. It's led by Eddie Wilkinson, the striker, who's scored 19 goals in 16 games in the Southern League. And there is experience there. All-white Noah Billingsley playing wide on the right of midfield. Matt Todd-Smith, who's had previous National League experience with Tasman United alongside him. And Blake Weston at the back, who most people will also know outside of football, given he is very active in the social media space, providing graphics for a number of different sporting codes across New Zealand. Scott Morris in goal has also had experience playing in the National League. And the big test here for Paul Eiffel's team will be just how good are they when they come up against a side from outside of their regular rural catchment. Birkenhead United finished second in the Northern League, and they have strengthened their lineup with the addition of Silvio Rodic, who joins the club from North Shore United after they were relegated from Northern League. There are some familiar names in here. Everton O'Leary playing wide on the right of midfield, starred for the New Zealand Under-19s in their recent championship victory at the OFC Under-19 Championship in Tahiti. Qualification, of course, for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Indonesia next year. Jackson Woods wide on the left. The experienced Sam Burfoot, the 28-year-old who was born in Bromley, England, will be the one player who's going to give the rest of these youngsters a bit of leadership. 14 of the 27 players in this Birkenhead United National League squad are under the age of 20. Interesting point, and very much in alignment with the way Paul Hobson lines up his teams.
Yeah, Paul's been there for a number of years, hasn't he? They've had some recent success with Chatham Cup wins back in 2016 and 2018, and you're right, former All-White, well, current All-Whites actually, Alex Grieve and Bill Tuiluma have come through the ranks here at Birkenhead. So both clubs steeped in history, both are familiar with winning titles and championships and Chatham Cups. So await a fantastic and exciting game of football this afternoon.
Yes, it's a really big occasion for Christchurch United. As you mentioned, Harry, they enjoyed a lot of success in the 1970s, winning National Leagues and Chatham Cups. 6 National League titles, 6 Chatham Cup victories between 1972 and 1991.
Yeah, we've had an absolute downpour of rain over the last sort of 48 hours here in Auckland. Looks like the pitch is looks like it's holding up quite well there at Shepherd's Park. We had National League Women's game yesterday. Had to be transferred from Three Kings from across to Michael's Ave and Ellerslie between Western Springs and Auckland United, and that one was underwater for some part of the game as well. But nice to see the conditions are somewhat a lot better here at Shepherd's Park.
Well, the playing surface is always immaculate here. It stood up well during the winter. Well, Grover with the throw-in. Here's Wilkinson back for Grover. The Birkenhead balcony packed to capacity. Here go Birkenheads on the first real meaningful attack. It's Curtis Hughes. Ball wound into the box, headed clear by Christchurch. Piper. Burfoot. Here's Dylan Hobson, decides to range forward. O'Leary. Well, it was a very impressive performance by New Zealand under-19s in Tahiti last week. I think they scored just over 30 goals on their way to qualification for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup and retention of the OFC title. Kyan Donkers and Oliver Colotti finished up on the Golden Boot. They had to share it in the end.
There's a lot of international action at the moment, isn't there, in and around World Cups. Under 17 women's team just departed to start their campaign in India. Their first game on the 11th of October. It's against Chile. Here in Chile, Nigeria and Germany in that group.
Well, you mentioned Bill Tuilomo and Alex Grieve. Of course, Alex Grieve scored this morning for St Mirren in a 2-1 win over Livingston in the Scottish Professional Football League. St Mirren were down to 10 players, and Grieve came on as a substitute and scored the winner in the 90th minute, which will please everybody here at Shepherd's Park. Grieve, of course, having played in the Northern League for Birkenhead in 2021. And appearing in those games with Australia.
It's a great story, isn't it, for both for Birkenhead and for those clubs who have, you know, players that come through the youth and junior ranks and have gone on to represent their country at any level. You know, it's a fantastic tribute and so exciting for local fans and the community as well.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind year for both Grieve and Birkenhead in that regard. So many young players on the books too coming through. That was a clear message in Birkenhead's match program today, just how successful their youth policy has been for over a decade. And a good incentive for the players to see some success, meaningful success, as Birkenhead dispossessed Christchurch first shots, and good save. Scott Morris, low to his right.
I think it was Alex Conor McKean that was cutting inside from the right-hand side. It was Curtis Hughes, actually. Scott Morris down to his right. A tidy save and first corner to Birkenhead United.
Corner taken. It's Morris who gets a fist on it. Hook clear by Christchurch. Wilkinson chasing down Dane Schnell. Away by Rodic. Piper for O'Leary. Oh, lovely skill. That's brilliant from Hughes. Christchurch struggling to get a hold of the ball. Matt Todd-Smith.
All the early pressure with Birkenhead at the moment. Really congested midfield. Some nice work, as you said, Curtis Hughes and Sam Burfoot in the little park. It's been quite prominent as well in these early stages.
Here's Grover. Whipped over to the far post looking for Billingsley. Can't find him. Goal kick. Well, there are mixed views about the discontinuation of the New Zealand Football Championship, but one of the plus points of the new setup is the return of clubs like Christchurch United to the top tier. When you take a look back at their history, some of the players like Bobby Armand, Steve Sumner, Ryan Nelson, three names especially that stand out. Two All Whites captains that led the country at two FIFA World Cups, 82 and 2010, as Birkenhead go looking for the first goal of the game. They've picked up a corner.
They are working the ball in some good positions. Birkenhead, they're getting Christchurch United defenders turning. We saw Curtis Hughes with that shot a few moments ago, the save from Scott Morris, and again down this right-hand side. Very positive from Paul Hobson's side.
Well, Birkenhead have got four inside that 6-yard box. Corbin Piper standing very close to Scott Morris, who again manages to get a glove, but there's an infringement. Free kick for Christchurch. Played forward by Billingsley, and Christchurch have a corner of their own. Well, three at the far post for Christchurch, one in the 6-yard box. It's Eddie Wilkinson, goes to the near. It's won by Birkenhead. Christchurch just struggling to make something in the early knockings of this.
Yeah, look, Birkenhead clearly have settled the better of the two sides, but we just saw before that more of a direct approach with Noah Billingsley over the top, trying to get in behind Andrew Crom, Jackson Woods.
Lovely interchange of play by Dane Schnell and Curtis Hughes. The shot not as impressive as the build-up. Goal kick. Birkenhead were in top form leading into this. Their last 16 games produced, I think it was something like 14 wins, a draw and a defeat, and that defeat was against Auckland City.
Yeah, they've come into this National League Championship with a fantastic record coming into, maybe the last game they did lose was against Takapuna back in round 8. That was on May the 7th. So Paul Hobson's side certainly know how to string some results together. They've scored a lot of goals. Cameron McKenzie, who's on the bench this afternoon, Alex Connor McKean, all been amongst the on the goal scorers charts for Birkenhead earlier this season.
And they carry a lot of threat from a lot of different areas of the park as well. Through the middle, out wide from midfield through Burfoot. Here's Alex Connor McLean. Knocked away by Weston. Now Christchurch can break. Reby, that's very good defending. Joe Hull. Matt Todd-Smith. Well, if you look at the league table from Christchurch United's regional section, they dominated, I think, 16 wins, a draw, a defeat. A loss to Cashmere, they beat Cashmere as well, but there was also a series of games with Ferrymead Bays that produced some difficulties for Paul Eiffel's team. They were knocked out of the Chatham Cup by Ferrymead Bays and also had a couple of very close games in the league. Once again, 3 at the back post for Christchurch United. Corner swung in towards a penalty spot. There's a header. Just wide of the target. It was Blake Weston.
Yeah, that was a better delivery on that occasion from Christchurch United. The signal there going long. We saw the near post cleared. Didn't beat the first man earlier on, but Blake Weston there, unchallenged with that header on goal. Unlucky not to hit the target. They are starting to just get into a bit of a rhythm, Christchurch United now.
Spain's ball forward. Flag's gone up for offside. I think William Pearce has possibly come from an offside position to receive that.
I think it's taken them 10, 12 minutes, Gordy, to react. They started picking up the second phase ball in the last couple of minutes.
That's what they really need, isn't it, Harry, to just get a hold of the ball for a spell. It's going to be a difficult afternoon if they're going to spend so little time without it. Here's Weston. Goes up the line. It's straight to Corbin Piper, who immediately switches play. O'Leary. Todd Smith lunging for it. O'Leary picks up the ball. He's past one. Finds Piper. Promising moment for Birkenhead as the ball's floated into the far post, and O'Leary appeared. The attention of Ben Lapsley perhaps put him off, but that's what Birkenhead can do very well when they're given the opportunity.
Yeah, they did well. They moved the ball from this right-hand side across to the left. And O'Leary just unable to keep that one in or even get directed onto goal.
This is Lapsley. Lovely turn by Eddie Wilkinson. Straight to Sam Burfoot, who picks out Hughes. O'Leary. Blake Weston got across just in time. Shepherds the ball out very well.
Yeah, Birkenhead certainly looks to break quickly when they can dispossess Christchurch United. To spring, particularly on this right-hand side with O'Leary. Curtis Hughes getting involved early on as well. Looking to work the ball in behind. Andrew Crom.
Long ball forward. Meat and drink for Silvio Rodic. Crom. Now Botica. Hobson. Hughes. O'Leary. Hughes again. Good defending from Christchurch. That was flicked on by Lapsley. There's cover for United. Christchurch United, rather. Wilkinson helps it on. Here's Pearce. Wilkinson. Well, this is a move of promise and potential for the team in blue. Wilkinson. Thought about a shot, decides to take it on. Trying to work into a shooting position and finds it. It's deflected. And a corner for Christchurch. Great work by Wilkinson.
Yeah, he did well. Did good poise, didn't he? Trying to find a yard of space. He could have, as you said, could have shot just there. But credit to Birkenhead too. Got numbers back behind the ball.
Wilkinson to take the corner that he earned for Christchurch. That's not bad, and over the top. That has to go down as a really big chance. Missed.
Well, they certainly are causing Birkenhead some problems from set pieces. This is the second corner that been able to get a header on goal. Unfortunately not finding the target for Noah Billingsley, but good signs for Christchurch United. On the other hand, Paul Hobson will be disappointed in not being able to get their defenders close enough to those Christchurch United chances.
I think Paul Eiffel will be quite happy with his team. They've survived an opening salvo from Birkenhead United, and they're slowly building themselves into the match. Building a bit of confidence. They only got beaten once in their travels in the Southern League this season. 35 goals scored, 7 against.
Yeah, that one loss coming against Kashmir Technical late on in the regional round. Certainly the momentum certainly swung in favour of Christchurch United over the last sort of 5 or 6 minutes. The energy levels are certainly lifted, their intensity, looking to close the ball down, as I said, picking up that second phase ball. Todd Smith has been quite dominant in the middle of the park after those opening stages. Sam Burfoot, Dane Schnell we saw earlier on as well. As you said, Gordy, I think it's just the case of getting the ball under control and just using it. I think they have confidence that they have got players with skill and technique that can use the ball. You can partly, they have shown us in the opening sort of 19 minutes or so, they're happy to pass the ball through the lines. Like I said, Edward Wilkinson on this left-hand side has had a good start to the game as well.
Yeah, he's looked very good. Oh, this is interesting for Birkenhead. Alex Connor McLean has got a run on the outside from Burfoot. He elects to cut inside himself. Now releases it to Everton O'Leary. Connor McLean, Burfoot. Tried a little give and go. Blake Weston using force to try and clear his lines. Burfoot slightly late. Free kick for Christchurch. I don't think you can be slightly late. You're either late or you're not, right? So yeah, it's a free kick.
Yeah, Nick Waldron not hesitating with that one there. Unfortunately, ball just got away from him. as well, but again turning over possession out from the back, Christchurch United.
O'Leary with Hughes. Nicely played, beautifully played from Burfoot initially, and then Dane Schnell. O'Leary.
Next one. Don't walk. Let's go, come on.
William Pearce fouled, free kick Christchurch. Todd Smith. Heavy touch from Wilkinson. It's back with Burfoot. Nice touch from Hughes. Late challenge on Everton O'Leary, but play continues. It's good refereeing from Nick Waldron. Here's Dane Schnell, and across the face of goal, Scott Morris got something on it. Birkenhead couldn't finish it off at the back post through Alex Connor McLean. They have a corner.
Well, this is well played by the referee. Actually let that one go, but Dane Schnell, teasing cross. Scott Morris couldn't hang on to it. Alex Connor McLean just in an advanced position, not being able to get that one back.
Keeper was almost in two minds, Harry, wasn't he?
Yeah, was to punch it or was he going to catch it?
Well, that 6-yard box is packed. There are 4 from Birkenhead and a 5th joining the throng of players. And that's a tremendous waste.
It's disappointing, isn't it? But you're right, it was a teasing cross from Dane Schnell.
Here's Weston. Weston again. Birkenhead drifting forward in an attempt to perhaps set up a press. Weston punches the ball forward. Billingsley. Oh, good work on that right-hand side. Here's Wilkinson. He's managed to roll his marker there. Can't beat the second player. Now Matt Todd Smith, Uribe. There's a cross towards the penalty spot. It wasn't a bad one. Chance! And he snatched at it, William Pearce. But a very, very interesting build-up by Christchurch. They're starting to show more threats from
wide areas too, haven't they? On the right-hand side, we saw Billingsley earlier on. Ed Wilkinson too. This one fell nicely for William Pearce. He'd be very disappointed not to at least hit the target. Good signs from Christchurch.
Here's Alex Connor McLean. Everton O'Leary providing support. Christchurch survived the moment. Hobson got a touch. Pearce finds Uribe. Nicely played by Wilkinson.
He's looked lively. Ed Wilkinson there. Nice touch leading the line. Looking to get the second ball.
Here's Connor McLean. Blake Weston, well, it's going to be a yellow card for Weston. Well, he got caught out of position almost.
He did, didn't he? I think it was just a late challenge, but Nick Waldron had no hesitation in going to his pocket for that one. Blake Weston, first card for the afternoon.
I suppose there's two ways of looking at that. He was almost caught out of position, but he also
Stopped
had
that
to
momentum,
stop
didn't
it.
he? Yeah.
Here's Birkenhead with a free kick to the far post. They've won the first ball and not quite able to make use of the second. Scott Morris has managed to grab onto it, but there's a player injured.
It's Andrew Crom, but yeah, floated cross into the far post, and it was Crom that got up.
Well, there's always the need to be very careful around head injuries, and certainly Andrew Crom is receiving the necessary attention.
Yeah, there's some pretty strict, as there should be, concussion protocols within the game. Pretty sure Andrew Crom will be okay.
Weston for Billingsley. Dispossessed. Rebe has positioned himself well to pick it up, but he's lost the ball. Here goes Birkenhead United. That's an interesting pass. O'Leary couldn't keep it in.
It was a good idea. Just in behind the defender there. O'Leary just ran out of room.
I was flicking through the today's match program, produced and published by Birkenhead United, and Everton O'Leary named his best five-a-side team, including himself,
Of course.
De Bruyne, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Thiago, and Messi, and Everton O'Leary.
And Everton O'Leary. Not a bad lineup. I know who's going to be the defending in that lineup. Well, you don't defend in five-a-side, do you?
No, it's
Really?
all out attack. Pure fantasy and attack in this lineup. Offside. Well, we're coming up to the half-hour mark at Shepherd's Park. Birkenhead United 0, Christchurch United 0.
It'd be fair to say too, Gordy, that Christchurch United had the better of the chances. The two headers, one from Blake Weston and Noah Billingsley from corners, and then that one from William Pearce about 5 minutes ago. Ball off target, but probably the better of those chances falling to the blue shirts.
I felt with the Billingsley opportunity that was a miss, that I hope for Paul Eiffel's team they don't come to regret later on. He came in really late when he connected with it. Very hard to pick up. Here's Piper, that was a heavy touch. He goes to ground, that's a foul. Piper's in some distress. Nick Waldron was well positioned to pick this up.
It's to a
5 forward for Birkenhead United. Sam Burfoot lurking on the edge of the penalty box, goes to the far post, and the danger recedes for Christchurch. Restart with a goal kick. Dino Botica, who played in the former iteration of the National League for Waitakere United. Here's O'Leary. Hughes. Very well played. Botica. Hobson. Hughes has got plenty of space here on the right-hand side. He's got some help here from O'Leary straight to the near post. There were two lurking just off to the right of goalkeeper Scott Morris in red and white stripes. Lapsley.
I'm sure Paul Ife will be giving some instructions there. That was far too much room for Everton O'Leary.
Weston. Wilkinson's done well to keep that in. A couple of step overs, help arriving. He decides to go on his own past Hobson. Wilkinson's causing a lot of problems.
He's proving to be a handful, isn't he? He's drifting, he's leading the line well up front. A couple of times he's held the ball up well and brought other players in, then looking to get the second pass. Then he's creating himself a bit of space, drifting particularly on this left-hand side, and that's not the first time he's had a little bit of space. Nice footwork to get around Botica.
Handball by Lapsley is overlooked, and now Wilkinson, who spins away from Piper. There's the shot. Oh, not too far away. I think Rodich had it covered.
Yeah, everything going forward for United is going through their number 10 at this stage, and what an impact he's having on the game this afternoon.
Burfoot. Nice touch to a very good run. Alex Connor McLean cuts it back, or tries to cut it back, only succeeds in hitting the near post. It was Dane Schnell who continued his run from midfield, looking to get on the end of it.
Yeah, the tempo of a game definitely stepped up. Gordy with a couple of good chances either side for both teams.
Christchurch need to be careful, because although the crossing from wide areas has been somewhat conducive to, Scott Morris getting in and stopping them, if Birkenhead get that right and they're not picking up, Christchurch aren't picking up those deep runs by Schnell, they might get on the end of something.
Yeah, they are working it really well on this right-hand side, Birkenhead United.
O'Leary.
Let's go, let's go!
Burfoot, lovely round the corner pass from him. He keeps going, tried to reconnect with Curtis unselfishly. Here's Schnell for Sam Burfoot. Well, that's a better type of cross, but still the same outcome. Well, there's another game in the National League Championship coming your way today. That's Auckland United against Melville United. Sky Sports 7, Keith Hay Park. Auckland United finishing their Northern League season on a big high when they defeated Auckland City at that venue just a couple of weeks ago. Coach Jose Figueira masterminding a victory over his former club. He'll be hoping to do something similar against Melville United team coached by Sam Wilkinson that had a very good season. Here's Blake Weston. Both teams struggling to hold on to the ball for meaningful periods of time. Here's Dane Schnell. He's got support here from O'Leary on the right. Curtis Hughes drops out of the pocket. looking to give his teammate a hand. Hobson goes direct, intended for Schnell, but it's got too much on it. There's a group of Birkenhead supporters there. I think they might be somehow connected with the club's youth team, who are giving the assistant referee plenty there.
Any edge you can get, right, to give your players on the park.
Especially at Shepherd's Park. As I was saying to you before we started this broadcast, they've had some big crowds at this venue throughout the season in all sorts of weather, and when it is packed, it's quite a great atmosphere. Very parochial, very well supported. There's a good connection between Birkenhead's junior sides and their senior football setup. It's got a lot of potential, especially with the work that's going on just to the right of the club rooms at the opposite end of the pitch. To our left-hand side as we watch. Birkenhead tried to create a chance from this position on the left-hand side. Piper picks out Burfoot. O'Leary. Oh, good pace from O'Leary, and the cover has resulted in a foul, perhaps. Nick Waldron's coming over. Well, O'Leary and Burfoot are both looking to the assistant referee. It looks like there's going to be a discussion here.
He did well, didn't he? Everton O'Leary, and that was inside the box as well.
Hey, Nick, come on.
Is that the right call?
Oh, it looked like he caught him, didn't he? Riley Grover, I think it was, for Christchurch United. Well, might have got away with one there.
Yeah, quite possibly. Burfoot taking on Grover again. Burfoot's going to need some support perhaps, although he's manufactured a cross, and
Scott Morris just saying the ball had crossed the line there before he had tipped it over the crossbar.
here's Jordan Spain for Christchurch. Joe Hull runs into a red and white defensive brick wall. Now Schnell picking out Hughes. It's 3 against 3 here. Hughes goes down. Ben Lapsley is the guilty party, and it's a free kick just on the edge.
I'd like to have another look at this one. Gordy, he's indicating that it was inside the box. Let's have a look. You just see it to the, yes, just outside. Gee, it was touch and go, wasn't it? But I think the right call from Nick Waldron.
So yellow card for Ben Lapsley. That's 2 of Christchurch United's back 3 that are in the book. 3 in the wall for Christchurch. Scott Morris is calibrating their position. 5 at the far post for Birkenhead. Burfoot again on the edge of the box. Dylan Hobson to take the free kick. Can Birkenhead snatch the lead just 5 minutes before the break in their first National League game at home? It goes to the near post. That's second time that Birkenhead have wasted an opportunity. One from a corner, one from this free kick. Just lets Christchurch off the hook, doesn't it, Harry?
Well, I think everyone was expecting that one to come across the goal. Hobson had another idea, though, trying to sneak that one inside the near post of Scott Morris.
Here's Pearce. He's managed to leave his defender in his wake. Corner, Christchurch.
I think you both ran out of room there, Pearce, and he didn't have any blue shirts in the middle of the box to perhaps try and slip that one too.
Well, his teammates were watching him. It was good to watch.
But they've been pretty good up to now in set pieces, particularly from corners, Christchurch United.
This one goes to the far post. Jordan Spain's underneath it, wins a header. Here's Blake Weston, and somewhat wayward with the shot. Riley Grover with a throw. Away by Piper. Burful. Nicely done by Lapsley. He had Hughes just behind him to be concerned about. Plays Morris. Jordan Spain. Good defending by Andy Crome.
I'm not running all the way.
Crome again, he's beaten one. Has he got quality on the cross? It's not bad. And Lapsley won the header he needed to. Wilkinson, Billingsley. Lovely interchange. Wilkinson cutting inside. He's passed one, passed another. There's a shot, and Silvio Rodic called into action. It's a corner. Wilkinson on fire for Christchurch United.
End-to-end stuff too, Gordy. As you said, I mean, he's done that on 2 or 3 occasions. Led the line well. He's laid off the first pass, made a run for the second, received it, and done ever so well.
Beautiful turn of the hips, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Just good turn of pace too. Aggressive running from Ed Wilkinson. You can see why he's bagged a ton of goals in the regional league.
Lapsley with the corner. Bent into the near post. Rodic comes for it. There's the strike by Pearce. It was somewhat mishit. Now Birkenhead break on the counter through Curtis Hughes. Everton O'Leary. Talking about Everton O'Leary's five-a-side team, his favourite book is Harry McCleary, so he says. Billingsley, well played. Riley Grover. O'Leary trying to cut down his space, almost succeeds. Christchurch pull clear through Matt Todd-Smith.
Bodicott, I think. Yeah. They've looked tidy up front, both Pearce and Wilkinson in this first half.
Be a fantastic time to score a goal just before the break. Christchurch with the set play from a different angle and some depth. The header straight at Silvio Rodic by Blake Weston. Weston's had a huge influence on the way Christchurch have played today for a player at centre half. Key in the build-up and a danger from set plays just in front of the club rooms. 1 minute of additional time minimum to be added on at the end of the first half. Weston. Wilkinson handling that very well and going past Hobson. Might fancy a shot here. He's cut inside Bodicott. And the shot straight at the defender, Matt Todd-Smith. Billingsley was on his heels. Jordan Spain has picked up the loose pass. Good turn from William Pearce. Rebate for Billingsley. Oh, that's a wild swing by Burfoot. It finds the opponent, Pearce. Well, there it is. Very interesting first 45 minutes at Shepherd's Park. It's Birkenhead United and Christchurch United still locked at 0-0. Plenty more to come in the second half, no doubt. Very, very interesting first half, Harry.
Yeah, it was an entertaining first half too. Good, and I think that the chances, the Christchurch United midway through that second half, they showed that from set pieces, and we saw William Pearce and Ed Wilkinson doing extremely well. Very even game at this stage.
Christchurch have really grown into this match. When you're coming from Central Region, Central Region, Southern Region, I think when you play your first game up north, that first 10-minute period, you're still trying to find your feet, because there is a part of you somewhere in the back of your mind going, we're a little bit of flat deck bullies.
Well, there was the highlights from yesterday's National League Women's game between Western Springs and Auckland United. The early chances there to Rina Harano, the Japanese player there for Western Springs. Maggie Peterson also getting involved in this right-hand side. Her shot flashing past the post. One of the standout players for Springs was Emma Peinenberg. She released Jessica Innes. Oh no, it was Rina Harano the first goal there for Western Springs, putting them up 1-0. Auckland United certainly did try and fight back. They were missing a key player up front. Millie Clegg is with the under-17 New Zealand team. Did manage to send Angelica Tuisamo into some saves. But they dominated possession. Their technique was far superior, as we see here from Harano again, pulling that ball down. A fantastic touch and a turn and shot on goal. Peinenberg again, slipping Harano in. This time it was just too far. Maya Lyth and Peinenberg again on her weaker right foot, making that late run into the box. Sophie Garcia again causing a lot of problems up front. Scored a hat-trick the week before. Here she is again, slipping this one into Harano. Following up that one again, Sophie Garcia just putting that one across the bar, but the game was largely dominated by Western Springs. Playing the game here at Michael Zav due to a waterlogged pitch at Keith Park. And its second goal there from Jessica Innes. In the end, Auckland United couldn't find themselves on the score sheet, and it was Western Springs. That third goal there from Sophie Dyer from the corner. And what was a wet and windy day here in Wellington, Michael Zav, Western Springs end up winning it 3-0.
Well, here's another look at how the National Women's League is currently tracking. Western Springs, 3 wins from 3, 9 points. Eastern Suburbs, Northern Rovers, Auckland United, giving a City of Sales flavour to that top 4. Canterbury, Capital, Central and Southern in the bottom 4 so far. Matches today in the National Women's League. Central Football taking on Northern Rovers 2:15. Canterbury United taking on Eastern Suburbs, and Capital Football hosting Southern United at Petone Memorial Park in Lower Hutt, 3 o'clock. All the football coming your way. You've got such a big choice before you. National League Championship Round 1. The Men's National League started on Saturday. Cashmere Technical with a big surprise, beating Miramar Rangers 4-0. Wellington Phoenix Reserves went down 1-0 to Napier City Rovers. And in a thrilling encounter at Endeavour Park, Wellington Olympic were beaten 2-1 at home by Auckland City FC. So with 3 games played, it's Cashmere Technical who lead at the top with their 4-0 win, ensuring top spot. Auckland City and Napier City Rovers just in behind. And of course, the 3 teams that were beaten, Olympic, Phoenix Reserves and Miramar Rangers in 8th, 9th and 10th. Today's game, of course, is going to change that. And so too, the game between Auckland United and Melville United coming up next from Keith Hay Park. That's going to be a very interesting game. 2 very good coaches, Jose Figuera and Sam Wilkinson, going head to head.
One with Uluvili does well and on target. What a strike! Petra Buick, fantastic strike. What a run from the substitute. Thoroughly deserved too. She's been at the staff at Canterbury since she's been on, trying to force things. What a fantastic strike by her.
There's a chance now for the Springs on the break, and this could well be the first goal of the game. There's no flag here, and the goal is tucked away by the American Sofia Garcia. And out of nothing, just as I was saying, Harry, that they really weren't firing too many shots, Southern will be very disappointed at how easily they let Garcia in around the back. Up. First goal of the game. This might be another chance. Canham again shoots a little weakly. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, it's almost going to script that after all the great chances, it's a scuffed shot that bounces awfully for Jessie Barnard, who doesn't adjust. And the opening goal of the game goes not unexpectedly to Danielle Canham, but certainly in a most unexpected fashion. Dyer will win the race here with all confusion though. Southern with a chance now to get back in the match, and Diaz, well, you talk about Southern gifting chances for Western Springs. That is absolutely handed on a plate. Real confusion. Western Springs at the heart of their defence, and Margarita Diaz does not need a second invite. Or they've been gifted possession here, Colby. Cross comes in towards the far post, and in fact it's in the back of the net. Well, that is surprising in the sense that Southern looked as though that was complete control. But all they've done is stand and watch Sofia Garcia grab her second goal. That's poor defending by Southern. Garcia is gleeful and accepting the header at the far post.
Hectic if they do. That Buick with her left foot.
Yep. Ball.
Oh, lovely
Oh,
ball. And it's in!
It is in!
And they're racing the ball back away. They've got 2 minutes.
Well, Angelique Toisoma has dealt with everything that crosses, shots, and that one she just couldn't keep out. What a ball from Buick.
Well, she's made a great impact coming on, hasn't she?
It's pretty calm on the ball. Oh, lovely turn. That's beautiful from Painenberg. Can she release the pass? She does to Colby. Best football of the match so far. to the edge of the penalty area, and that is the best goal of the match, and that is superb. Tāwhuru with the finish, but beautifully crafted, and it all started with Emma Painenberg. What a turn in midfield and releasing Kolpe, and again she found a teammate with the cross. She spring counter-attack here. Possession with United, just off the heels of Nathan. Oh, what a strike! And they have got an equalizer, and that is a wonderful snapshot. Really didn't appear to have a lot of time, or indeed a lot of room, but a wonderful strike on goal, and they do have the equalizer, and it's Millie Clegg.
Garcia making the run, just inside, there she goes. Garcia around the keeper, should be a goal, well done from Sophia Garcia. She was making 2 or 3 of those runs earlier on that occasion. Around the keeper, and finished from a tight angle.
You can. And the shot at goal now, and that has found the back of the net. That gave Annie no chance at all.
Pride really have started this game in the second half. Some urgency. They are the team that's chasing the game at the moment. Lovely ball from Painenberg, releasing Kolpe. Great shot by Kolpe. What a goal! Fantastic goal from Lara Kolpe. Well, that's a wonderful goal, wonderful run, and a fantastic finish. We were talking about the ascendancy with Canterbury Pride, but look at this run from Lara Kolpe. What a finish.
But the players that have come in have done a good job, and well, there we go, 4th goal for Auckland United. Just like that.
Ryan Faith will be making sure they tidy that up through training during the week. But no, I think from a quality perspective, that just
Garcia for the hat-trick, and she has her 3rd goal. Sorry, Harry, but that is a real highlight for Sophia Garcia, who just pulled the trigger. And she is delighted, the American, with a hat-trick in what is now a 6-1 scoreline.
Goal, Western Springs, number 10, Sophia Garcia.
Welcome back, everybody. Top goal scorers this season: Taylor O'Brien with 4, Sophia Garcia with 3, and Rina Hirano with 2. You can see the rest of the list and more action over the coming weeks. Meanwhile, here at Shepherds Park, it's Birkenhead United 0, Christchurch United 0. Very entertaining first 45 minutes. Christchurch found their way back into the game after a difficult start.
Yeah, so Everton O'Leary here has been quite tidy on the right-hand side for Birkenhead United. Curtis Hills. This was in the first sort of couple of minutes that Scott Morris had to get down quickly. But it was the number 10 for Christchurch United that certainly took control of the game with everything going forward for United. Had a couple of decent chances too from set pieces, which was Noah Billingsley. Disappointed not to hit the target there. Quick footwork here again from Curtis Hughes. A teasing cross here from Dane Schnell, just failed to cause any problems. And again, William Pearce flashing at that one. This was at a stage in the last sort of 15 or 20 minutes. It was really a wave upon wave from Christchurch United. Nice interchange of play there. Alex Connor McLean. Scott Morris there again, protecting his near post, but it was a very entertaining first half. Ed Wilkinson again was the main man for Christchurch United, really leading the line well. We talked about that first ball off,
making the second run in behind the defenders and receiving that pass. Very effective.
Harry, a couple of chances in those highlights. Do you think Christchurch could come to regret missing them? I'm thinking of the Billingsley header and the Pearce shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I think Paul Eiffel will be, pleased that his team has actually got stronger as that first half went on. I mean, it was a bit of they had some pressure in the first 5 or 10 minutes, which they were able to, to deal with, and then found some rhythm and got the ball forward, playing through the lines. Matt Todd-Smith did very well in the middle of the park in that sort of in a 10-minute spell, and that man number 10 there, just in centre shot, is probably the major threat for Christchurch United in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, Eddie Wilkinson, he's been good to watch this afternoon. Well, one change for Birkenhead United during the break. Corbin Piper has come off and has been replaced by Miles Palmer. He's Ben Lapsley with the throw-in, one of 2 players on yellow cards from Christchurch United, both at the back. Blake Weston is the other. We were saying off air during the halftime break that for Christchurch United, that first 10 minutes of this game were all about getting a line of sight on Birkenhead, because there is this idea that if you win the Southern League, that perhaps you're going to come up against a much tougher opponent, and just how do you fit in, where do you square off in that equation. And they've grown in confidence now that they've had that sighter.
Yeah, I'm sure that that marker in the first 45 minutes, I will probably be the more happier of the 2 coaches, because Paul Hobson, he's been there for God knows how long, over a decade, I would imagine. And you can see the consistency. He talked about the club itself, Gordy, and the youth team players, and how the club really is a community spirit within the club, and that's built over time, and Paul Hobson's been integral to that. But he'll be definitely looking for senior players like Dean Schnell and Burfoot in the middle of the park to really get hold of this game in the second half, and perhaps start bossing the game out of the middle of midfield, because they have been sort of second best to the later stages of that first half.
Here's Burfoot. Marked watchfully by Matt Todd-Smith. Hobson. Looks like Alex Connor McLean tries one from distance.
Yeah, I think Scott Smith will be quite happy. Any shots from that sort of distance, there's got to be a bit of a fantastic effort and strike to hit the back of the net from that distance.
Jordan Spain with a throw. Spain again. Well, he was grabbed here by Alex Connor McLean. It was smartly done, to be honest. Not that I'm condoning foul play, but...
Smart play. Was it, Gordy?
Well, Nick Waldron was on the opposite side. I think it was a sly move to try and prevent the momentum building, but it was picked up by Waldron. He happened to be smarter in the moment. Here's Wilkinson. He's got Billingsley there. It's towed away, but Wilkinson's picked it up again. Has he got a left foot shot? Oh, he has, and it wasn't too far away. Rodich again, positioning was sound. Had it covered.
I think a lot of bodies there too in front of Rodich. I'm sure he saw this one a bit later. You see there, 2, 4, 5 bodies in front of him. There's a late dive as well. I think he did see it late.
Rodich has been around the scene for 6 years. He first played for Eastern Suburbs back in 2016 when they had returned to the New Zealand Football Championship. First time they'd played at that level since the 70s. Rodic, also a former Croatia age group international. Had a very difficult season with North Shore United. They got relegated from Northern League. Here's Hughes, and now Christchurch are in all sorts of problems. It's 2 against 1. Oh, and Alex Connor McLean can't hit the target. Birkenhead have missed a very good chance.
Absolutely. You get caught too far forward there. There's only one defender, Jordan Spain, and here at the back for Christchurch United. And that should have been 1-0 to Birkenhead. I think it was 3 against 1.
Well, this is almost a replica of the previous opportunity, and it's got a similar outcome. Alex Connor McLean lifting it over the crossbar.
Almost identical, isn't it? In terms of the run and the strike. Not hitting the target. Alex Connor McLean.
Well, that Christchurch backline got very narrow once more. It was Jordan Spain was dragged in very, very close to Blake Weston.
Yeah, Scott Morris was quite happy to take a few extra moments here, just let the heat die a little bit. It's been all Birkenhead United for the last sort of couple of minutes.
Crom. Oh, both teams guilty of giving the ball away cheaply at times. Barefoot. Well, he tried to play in where he thought Dylan Hobson might be, and a chance for Grover. Breaks wide to Wilkinson, and Crom managed to get something on it.
And then a misplaced pass there from Sam Barefoot. William Pearce, and then the deflected shot there, nearly falling to Ed Wilkinson.
Well, Christchurch have threatened from set pieces. Can they do so again? Oh, and the answer is, yeah, they can. Right across the face of goal, though. Looks like it was Jordan Spain.
The set pieces again for Christchurch United. Unfortunately, can't get that one on target again. I mean, they're quite prominent in the first half too. A couple of good chances from set pieces, falling to Blake Weston and Noah Billingsley.
Well, Cameron McKenzie into the fray. 8 goals from 20 games from midfield in the Northern League. Rodic sends it long. It's won by Matt Todd-Smith. Now Wilkinson, 4 or 5 players from Birkenhead surrounding him. It's well kept in by Grover, but loses his footing. It's with Everton O'Leary. Free kick Birkenhead. Dane Schnellfeld. Well, 10 minutes of the second half gone. Still no goals at Shepherd's Park. Birkenhead with 2 changes since the restart. Here's Sam Burfoot. Everton O'Leary. Lots of space for Birkenhead to scheme and plan on the counter-attack. There's an overlap and a chance here for Birkenhead. It's rattled off the defender's backside. Cross into the near post. That's meat and drink for the goalkeeper, Scott Morris. Pearce. Billingsley. Uribe has given up possession to Miles Palmer. Now Birkenhead with an overlap on the right. It's O'Leary's cross that's kicked away by Blake Weston. Dylan Hobson with the corner kick. Clipped into the near post, and it's won by Birkenhead, and it's in the back of the net. It's Dino Bodica. The home side sees the initiative just before the hour mark. To the delight of the Shepherd's Park crowd.
Yeah, well, again, we talked about how important set pieces were in the first half. This time, Dino Bodica jumping over the top of Joe Hoyle there, finding the back of the net for Birkenhead United. I mean, they have been the most positive side out of the two in the second half. A couple of good chances and strikes on goal just inside the start of the second half, and it was Birkenhead again taking the ascendancy now. Paul Life will go into his bench with a double change.
Yeah, Mika Rabuka and Joel Peterson both inserted into the action. Riley Grover and Leo Uribe coming out. Spain. Pearce. Spain again. It's away by Crom. Billingsley. Hoists it well over the top. We were just discussing it, weren't we, a matter of minutes ago, the chances that Christchurch missed in the first half coming back to haunt them, and Dino Bodica showing exactly how you score from a set play. Rabuka making immediate impact for Christchurch. Heavy touch from Billingsley. He's recovered though. O'Leary. Burfoot. Lapsley's won the ball and continues roaming forward, but he can't find Eddie Wilkinson with the pass. Crom. Well, here is Matt Todd-Smith from distance. Tries one. Oh, that's not far away. Very good effort with the left foot. Rodic has hurt himself in the process.
Sam Burfoot with a yellow as well.
Well, Christchurch need to sharpen up from this set play. Goes to the far post. Rodic comes through it, punches clear. Away by Jackson Woods. Christchurch have the initiative with the throw-in. Wilkinson. Rabuka. Referee Nick Waldron and Sam Burfoot continuing the dialogue. Modern day players quite often complain about referees not being willing to engage in conversation with them. I would suggest that continuing a conversation with Nick Waldron while he's sitting on a yellow card is probably not a good idea.
Not the best idea, right?
Here's Birkenhead again. There's a late arrival at the top of the box. It was Dane Schnell. Curtis Hughes. Schnell's in the box. It's a good delivery. Here's Schnell over the top, just wide. Managed to find the space, but not the quality.
Well, that should have been 2 for Birkenhead. They worked the ball nicely on their right-hand side. Hughes laying it off. Nice cross from Everton O'Leary. Schnell arriving late. Unmarked. Really should have hit the target.
I think he knows it too, from judging by the body language.
Yeah, Christchurch a bit rattled now. It's Birkenhead just have stepped up that intensity after the goal. Christchurch having to chase the game now.
Cross to the near post. It's dealt with by Jordan Spain. I think that's Eddie Wilkinson, who's ranged all the way back to give Christchurch United a hand. William Pearce. He got that out of his feet efficiently enough. Here's Spain. Billingsley. First touch takes him away from Jackson Woods. Well, that's well read by Andrew Crom, I think it was. No, that was the goal scorer, Dino Bodica. O'Leary. Well, nearly midway through the second half. It's Birkenhead United who lead by a goal to nil, courtesy of Dino Bodica's header on 57 minutes. Burfoot. Lobbed forward by Joel Peterson. Had a good season for Christchurch United, 8 goals in his 13 outings in the Southern League. They could certainly do with a goal from somebody in a blue shirt today. Rabuka. Nicely done by Joe Hull, and Rabuka has managed to find his way past one opponent. He's got Wilkinson just to his left, who's lined up the shot. Oh, that's a fine finish. What a goal by Eddie Wilkinson. Set up by Rabuka. Christchurch back in business.
Well, it had to be Eddie Wilkinson, didn't it? I mean, he was being the spearhead for Christchurch United all afternoon. Now, what a great run by Rabuka as well. Reminds me of Calvin Kalua in some ways, the way he runs, just his mannerisms, the way he runs, even the way he looks a little bit. But, you know, Wilkinson, a well-deserved goal for him this afternoon. Back on level terms now, Christchurch United.
It was very, very smartly done by Wilkinson. Not just the finish, but it was the run just to the left of Rabuka that caught Birkenhead out. And it's game on, 1-1.
Here's a nice run by Rabuka, and it was Wilkins had just peeled off, didn't he? Just had enough space just to strike that one first time. Good low strike too. The left-hand side of Rodic.
He's put in a power of work this afternoon, Eddie Wilkinson. We're just talking about how
He
he
was helping out, wasn't he, in
Yeah.
the defensive third too.
Decent cross away by Spain.
Nice touch. Was that Wilkinson again, was it?
Oh, and
was
that
Pearce.
William Pearce, Christchurch get unlucky on that break.
In the bag, Fred.
Joel Peterson.
Fair enough on the foul on Sam Burfoot there as it's clipped into the far post. Weston doesn't win it. It's away by Lapsley. There's a shot blocked.
Has he slipped, did he?
I think the only people who feel that it wasn't a slip are on the balcony. Here's Noah Billingsley. The Birkenhead Shepherds Park balcony can make it a very long afternoon for an opposing team. Here's Curtis Hughes. Lapsley goes out to meet the problem. It's Matt Todd-Smith who dispossesses Hughes. He's going to need an out ball. There's Pearce to provide it, but it's intercepted. Rabuka. Turns O'Leary, but he can't get past Dylan Hobson. Ball launched forward. Lapsley wins the ball. He managed to get most of his body onto this. Now Joe Hoyle. Casually given away. It's picked up by Jackson Woods. Game becoming very transitional. Now it's Dane Schnell. Cuts inside Matt Todd-Smith. It's the defending of Jordan Spain that deactivates the immediate danger for Christchurch. Hughes, Burfoot. Running behind by Schnell. Burfoot pulling strings and looking for a pass short to feet. It's offered by Everton O'Leary. Palmer for Crom. Woods. Crom. Better from Birkenhead until the crucial moment. Billingsley.
Yeah, they got numbers back too. And then Christchurch just filling those passing lanes, and this interception before, and they're trying to play their way out.
Noah Billingsley went through Jackson Woods like a freight train. There's a real considerable size difference between the physiques of the two players. Noah Billingsley, a 3-cap all white, of course. Played in the MLS with Minnesota United and most recently with the Phoenix Rising. Crom. Curtis Hughes dispossessed. Jordan Spain happy to see the ball go anywhere but in the Christchurch half. Picked up by Dylan Hobson. Barefoot. Barefoot again. He was looking for movement ahead. He wasn't forthcoming. O'Leary. McKenzie. Barefoot. Forward by Lapsley. Helped on by O'Leary. Lapsley produces a head. O'Leary picks up the bits and pieces, tries to whip over across. It's found Hughes. Hoists it to the near post. Jordan Spain again busily employed in an aerial capacity. Now Miles Palmer goes to the byline, hits the near post and takes a deflection off Blake Weston and hits the side netting for a corner.
Well defended by Blake Weston, just throwing his body. Nice run by down the right hand side, and Weston, that man again. Centre of defence for Christchurch United this afternoon.
Well, Christchurch got caught out with Boddiger's goal on the hour mark, and they're going to be looking to clear their lines here again, as they have done so often in the recent minutes. Miles Palmer, substitute, has previously played in the NZFC. I think he was at Hawke's Bay or Waitakere. He came through the National Youth League, the now defunct National Youth League, at Auckland City, and has found favour at Shepherds Park over the last 2 seasons. Of course, Paul Hobson also coached at Waitakere in the final knockings of the NZFC competition at Waitakere. Yes, when they were based at Seddon Park. Hughes goes down dramatically and has got the free kick. Well, to be fair to him, it looks sore. Maybe a bit hasty there.
A bit of cramp as well by the looks of things. It's the clumsy challenge from William Pearce.
Yeah, I thought it was initially the first one that caught him, but it was Pearce who went over the top, just stood on his foot.
Poor Lifel there in the background. What a player he was, Gordy.
Yeah. I think one of the best imports to ever come into our game.
Absolutely.
As a player, and he's given quite a lot back to the sport as well, as Boddiger sets up a chance for Schnell, and Boddiger almost got on the end of the scheme he hatched on the edge of the penalty box.
You can even hear the hometown support there at Shepherds Park, really rallying their side. Just over 15 minutes to go.
Hobson did well, went through a couple of challenges. Curtis Hughes, Lapsley watching him closely, hooked into the penalty box by O'Leary. Crom. Well, it was an enticing cross that drew Scott Morris off his line.
Come on, Lex!
McKenzie, O'Leary, Palmer tries one from distance, just wide of the target. It wasn't far away. Certainly drew the gasps of the balcony, who had the perfect view of it.
He's done well since he's come on. Miles Palmer had a penetrating run a few moments ago, force a corner for Birkenhead United, and a nice shot there across the face of goal. A good positive play.
Change for Birkenhead, Paul Hobson removing Curtis Hughes, and Chase Taylor in your picture becomes the latest substitute from Birkenhead to join the fray. Lapsley. Won by Botica. Hoyle. Pearce for Matt Todd Smith. Rabuka. Wilkinson, lovely skill from him. Burfoot. Not his best work. Billingsley takes the pass from Wilkinson. Pearce pops up on the right-hand side. Sorry, yes, that is Pearce. Anybody's game, Harry, at this point?
I think so. I think it's still very, very open, isn't it? I mean, Birkenhead have had the upper hand over the last sort of 15, 20 minutes or so. Christchurch have been able to weather that storm, so to speak. Their main threats up front, so Wilkinson and Pearce, been working hard, doing defensive duties as well. Rabuka's look handy since he's come on.
I think Paul Eiffel would dearly love a point from first game back in the National League. After so many years away, it would be a symbolic point as much as a pragmatic one. But Christchurch United can certainly compete in the league. Still plenty of time for them to turn it into 3 points rather than 1. Wilkinson with a free kick towards a penalty spot, and it's fallen to Rambuka. Off the line, I think. Birkenhead have survived a very, very tense moment.
I think that one was off the line too, Courtney, I think. Ball swung in from Wilkinson. A lot of space there for Rabuka. He's was certainly cleared off the line too. Wasn't a clean strike, but it was on target, past the keeper.
Yeah, Rodich wasn't really involved, was he? He was completely helpless. Good defending, right place at the right time for Birkenhead. I think it was Andy Crom.
Let's go, Birkenhead!
Weston. That was a good first touch by Joel Peterson, not such a good second. Lapsley's header, nicely taken down by Wilkinson. Ball thrust forward, intended for Rambuka. It's now Botica. Palmer. Oh, there's a lapse in concentration by Lapsley. Chase Taylor. Palmer for Burfoot. Crom. Jackson Woods. Oh, it was almost too good a ball to give to Dane Schnell. It appeared very late over the back of Jordan Spain's head, and Schnell caught it late. Wasn't able to get the quality touch he needed. Jeez. One by Woods. Still going. Schnell's unmarked if he can find him. Might not need him. Good save. Scott Morris to the rescue for Christchurch. Big, big moment.
He's holding his hand up too because he knows he made a mistake with that, with his distribution a few moments earlier. Jackson Woods there and a smart save too from Scott Morris.
Go, Birkenhead! Go, lads!
Well, the balcony coming to life. Just under 12 minutes of the regulation 90 to play. Birkenhead United 1, Christchurch United 1. There's Hobson's corner kick. Morris got it. It's in the back of the net from Everton O'Leary. Birkenhead sees the initiative. They have the lead. And once again, from a defensive set piece, Christchurch United found wanting.
Well, again, lofted cross in there. Scott Morris could only get half a hand or only punch it down into the advancing Everton O'Leary, but I think it was Chase Taylor that got the last touch to that one. You'd have to say too, Gordy, a few moments earlier, we talked about it before, Scott Morrison with his distribution out that eventually led to that he had to pull a save against Jackson Woods, and then the resulting corner resulted in a goal for Birkenhead.
Yes, a cascading sequence of mistakes, you have to say. Oh, and there's another one. Mackenzie picking up on some loose play from Lapsley. Schnell, wide on the right to retrieve it, whips it in early, takes a deflection off Joel Peterson. It's another corner. The balcony's always rowdier after half-time, and now that their team has a 2-1 lead, you can still hear them. There's another decent take. It was a very good delivery. Scott Morris did well to get on it. Here's Palmer off the crossbar. Scott Morris didn't know anything of it. Birkenhead now have this game between the teeth, and Christchurch are just hanging on. Could be a long 10 minutes for them. Goodness me, Palmer struck that beautifully.
Wasn't it a great strike? I think it took a deflection too on its way.
Here's Hoyle, not a bad ball. Wilkinson has found a way into a gap and has won a corner.
Strong boys!
Here's again the set play. Morris again with the punch, but look at this strike here from. Oh, fantastic strike from Miles Palmer. I think Scott Morrison had his hand up. I think he was up for a goal kick, or I don't know what he was put his hand up for. The ball could have been in the back of the net.
Look, that's one of the things I like about Birkenhead. I'll come back to that as this corner kick is taken by Christchurch. One of the things I like about Paul Hobson's team is that so often we see teams reluctant to take shots from in front of goal, and they just recycle possession. But this Birkenhead team's got players that like to hit the ball from distance. Sam Burfoot scored a cracking goal in the Northern League midway through the season in a game against Auckland City that Birkenhead lost 5-3. You saw there Palmer having a strike. They take risks. They take calculated risks. They're not afraid to have a go.
Yeah, and they back themselves, don't they? And the confidence to strike from that sort of distance.
Look, I know there's a raft of data that a lot of technical analysts will produce to say that there's a percentage chance that you won't score. But I think from a spectator's point of view, which is important, that it's exciting to watch that type of sequence of play. Here's Spain. Lovely first touch from Pearce.
Own it, come on! Be switched on there!
Here's another possibility for Birkenhead.
Oh,
shouts for handball, it's given. The game slipping away from Christchurch United. The complaints from Noah Billingsley and Scott Morris are rather half-hearted. The replay will reveal the truth. And what do you think, Harry?
Is it hip to hand or hip to arm? But he did so well too, Jackson Woods, to get to the byline there and really force Jordan Spade into a challenge. Interesting to see that one again if we can.
Well, it's going to be Miles Palmer to take it, and we all know he can hit a ball.
Go!
He slid one past the right-hand upright of Scott Morris about 20 minutes ago. He rattled the crossbar from almost 3 times the distance he's about to take this penalty from. It's not much of a run-up. Well, here we go. Will it be a conventional penalty kick? It is, and it's got a conventional outcome. 3-1. Miles Palmer on 85 minutes. And that should seal 3 points for Paul Hobson's team and Birkenhead United.
Well, here's the challenge. Challenge or a handball there from Jordan Spain. Nonetheless, making no mistake from the spot, Miles Palmer.
Well, double change for Birkenhead United. Nick Forrester is replacing Everton O'Leary. Jackson Woods afternoon concludes, and Cody Phoenix will see some action. Noah Prestel has replaced Joe Hoyle for Christchurch. So 4 minutes of the 90 to go, but this looks like being a memorable return to action for Birkenhead, a memorable day in their National League history. First up victory for a club that has won a handful of Northern League titles. Not the Northern Premier League title, 2 Chatham Cups. And the start of a new adventure, history being written. Matt Todd-Smith tried to disentangle the ball from feet with a bit of a flick, but corner. Hobson with the corner kick. That's a good one, and it's headed back across goal. William Pearce with an unconvincing clearance, picked up by Palmer. Rodich. McKenzie for Taylor. Dylan Hobson. He was looking to try and link with Cam McKenzie, only succeeded in finding Matt Todd-Smith. Oof, what a challenge that was. Firm but fair. Raboka. Barefoot. Played straight into Pearce, who keeps his run going. Tries one from distance, that's too easy for Rodich.
Yeah, Jordan Spain screaming for the ball. Just in the bottom shot of the camera there.
Nice touch from Schnell. Oh, and that's a good ball, and the shot on target. Well, that's all you can say about it. It really was pretty weak, but Birkenhead really giving Christchurch United a torrid final couple of minutes here at Shepherd's Park. Taylor, intercepted by Spain. Pearce, Wilkinson, Raboka, Todd-Smith, clever with the feet. And the idea was to thread the ball through to the front line, but it was just lacking in quality. The target was supposed to be Joel Peterson. Christchurch United heading for just their second away defeat of the calendar year. In league format football, that is. Well, they only conceded 12 goals during the Southern League season. They've conceded 3 this afternoon. In the National League, there's plenty of space here for Cam McKenzie to exploit. Goes to the near post and just a miscued shot, but it was a very good run.
Yeah, they're finishing the game strongly. Birkenhead United, those subs really have extra energy, particularly in the middle of the park where Christchurch United really can't get anything going forward.
Yeah, a lot of what-ifs for Christchurch today. You know, what if Noah Billingsley had scored off that corner? Scored the first goal of the game, taking control of the match early on. They did well to get back in, scored a very good goal themselves through Wilkinson and the work of substitute Rambuka, but it's all fallen away. 3 minutes of additional time minimum to be played. We've had one of those. Potica with a header. Forward by Forrester. Lovely skill from Dylan Hobson on the right. That's a decent cross. McKenzie showed to feet. Just got a little bit of a shove from, I think it was Lapsley on that side. Here's Billingsley. Wilkinson. Matt Todd-Smith. Oh, had an option to go left. He chooses to go right instead to Billingsley. Good defending. Very good defending. Well played, Birkenhead. Well played by McKenzie. Oh, and he just needed a slightly better touch, and he was off.
Or just the ball just in front of him a bit more, because I think it just wrong-footed him with that one as well, as his touch was a little heavy as well, as he said, Gordy.
Matt Todd-Smith. Well, hopeful ball forward for Billingsley. Can't find him. Rodic. Cody Phoenix goes long. We're in the hands of referee Nick Waldron now. Full-time whistle expected at any moment. Birkenhead starting off the National League campaign, the National League Championship campaign, with a win. 3-1 they lead. Potica, Palmer and Taylor the goal scorers. Wilkinson for Christchurch, and there's confirmation. A winning start to life in the National League Championship for Birkenhead United. Convincing in the end. They rode their luck in the first half with Christchurch creating a couple of chances which they failed to take. Christchurch found a way back into the game midway through the second half, but it was Birkenhead with the late show as they emerge victorious, 3-1.
Well, thoroughly deserved, I think, from Birkenhead United. Gordy, I think Paul Hobson made some key changes in that second half that really was too difficult for Christchurch to get back into the game. I think not enough urgency in the second half from Christchurch, particularly the last 10 or 15 minutes to get the ball forward. They had their chances in the first half, there's no doubt about that. I think Paul Life would be relatively happy with the first 60 minutes. But again, that last sort of 20 or 25 minutes, I think Birkenhead really stepped it up, and their substitutes really did make a difference.
Well, results from the National League Championship, just to reconfirm, Cashmere Technical top of the table after a 4-0 win over Miramar Rangers. Napier City Rovers beat Wellington Phoenix by a goal to nil, and Wellington Olympic beaten at home 2-1 by Auckland City FC, all yesterday. Birkenhead United 3-1 victors over Christchurch United, goals to Botica, Palmer and Taylor, one for Eddie Wilkinson, and at 3 o'clock, Auckland United taking on Melville United at Keith A Park. There is the league table. You can see it's a real logjam there. 4 teams off to a winning start in life in the National League Championship. Cashmere, Birkenhead, Auckland City and Napier. And at the bottom, Wellington Olympic, Phoenix Reserves, Christchurch and Miramar with 1 game to be played. On behalf of Harry and myself, Gordon Glenn Watson, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Auckland United versus Melville coming your way shortly. We'll see you again next time.